So the fives continues. I'm hoping that not only the fives continue, because that's what we're supposed to do this week, but also the strength continues. Coming off of yesterday. Yesterday, my strength felt phenomenal, man. Like, it was absolutely insane. Like, it was RPE 0 for every single set, even that last one where I added on more weight. So, hoping that continues. And we can feel that good while using the stiffy. I don't know. I wanted to try this just to get a sense of how much harder it is in the whippy bar, because I do have plans to power lift eventually, and I know that they're not using fucking whippy ass deadlift bars on the platform, so might as well start getting used to that and kind of just treat that like how I treat my elbow wraps, for bench. Just use it when I feel like just fucking around and going for some crazy heavy weight. So yeah. Knee sleeves. Now you ask, Kev, they're knee sleeves, man. Why you got them on your shins? Because I am a bitch and I don't feel like dealing with the shin pain, and I don't have those powerlifting knee-high socks, so I use knee sleeves because they're tight enough to hug the shins and shit like that. So, little pro tip, if you're pussy like me, don't feel like dealing with the pain and you don't have the powerlifting knee-high socks. From Village Shit in the Iron, code Kev to save. Let me know if you get anything. Doesn't have to be knee sleeves, could be anything on the site. Yeah, definitely gonna be awkward. I know that pulling the slack out of it is harder than it typically would be, and it is thicker, so kind of harder to work with that hook grip. You know what I'm saying? So gonna be a little learning curve, but we can do it. We are a little tired from yesterday. Did have to go up to 900 plus pounds on the hip thrust and work our way down from that because we had other shit to hip thrust. So pitting on all those weights, doing it, taking them all off, but we couldn't just take them all off at once and pin them away because, like I said, we had other shit to hip thrust. So I'm feeling it. But unlike last week, we actually got to use pre-workout today. So shouldn't be all bad. I feel like the bar is like smaller, like width wise. Just something to take note of. What I do with that information is up to me. All right. I can definitely tell right off the bat that it's going to be harder. I mean, it's hard to grip because it's thicker. Just everything is more condensed because it's smaller. They're not width-wise, excuse me. Lengthwise. But smaller lengthwise, so everything's more condensed. You know what I mean? I don't know. I know weight is weight, but I feel like there are factors, you know, with what kind of bar you use and shit like that, that can make it heavier, if that makes any sense. So for example, the whippiness of a deadlift bar, you know what I mean? Like by the time you pull the slack out, um, like by the time you start pulling and it's bending, depending on the whip, you know what I mean? It's gonna make that range of motion shorter than a stiff bar. That's not gonna bend as much. You know what I'm saying? You could be, depending on what kind of bar you use, at lockout, and your weight barely be off of the ground because of the whip, you know, depending on how much weight you're using. You know what I mean? Also just having a smaller bar and using kilos, having everything be more condensed. So you're really feeling that weight because you're in the fucking center of it. You know what I mean? It's not as distributed as a deadlift bar. You know what I'm saying? So I'm feeling it already, and this is only 154, I believe. So definitely going to be a tough one today. Hopefully the boy Ryan comes through, and then I'll have more faith in myself. Just being a good girl today. Dumped her, didn't even have to move her. She immediately knew and got to the spot that she needs to be. I love a girl that behaves, man. I think we're gonna climb up by a red, since we have gotten to a point where even our 5 rep range is in the 500 range. There's no need uh, to not go up by reds until we get to at least 3. Um, so yeah, should be. Definitely am gonna chalk up for this. I know it's only 3 reds, but I don't know, man. This shit is like super thick. You know, like Barbella got that that BWL, Brazilian weight lift. Cause she's thick, you know, so it's like she got a BBL, but it's also it's like a weight. So it's like no, she got that Brazilian weight lift instead of a butt lift. Or BPL, Brazilian plate lift. Some might find that more suitable. Oh yeah, that's tough, man. That's tough. You really start to feel it as you go heavier, but there's like fucking no slack to pull out of that bitch. That shit is stiff. So definitely gonna still point to the lats and stay tight, but definitely gonna have to make use to the full max of that fucking leg drive off the ground. You know, tight legs. Really focus on that cue of pushing the ground away from you. You know what I'm saying? But I think we got it. Probably gonna put on the belt, even though it's only 430, just because just everything being condensed, you know, and everything like that. You know, feeling it. Back's already getting a little bit tight. Also, from Village Shooting the Iron, for Kev. Man, I feel like a walking ad. You know? It's actually kind of funny because when I would look at people in powerlifting comps and they'd have their weight on, I'd be wondering, like, why aren't they really pulling the slack out? And you don't really understand until you use, like, a power bar. You know what I'm saying? And then you're kind of just like, oh, that's why. Because there's no fucking point. There's no, like, slack to give. Like, if I, wiggle on this and try to pull that slack out, I'm not going to be pulling fucking anything out because it's so fucking stiff. I feel like you can only do that if you're, like, fucking Jamal or some shit, where you got on 900 pounds. So, obviously, that's still going to fucking bend quite a bit, even on a power bar. But, yeah, just being myself, you know? This is just not a way, even when we go up to for working sets, where you can just pull the slack out. So it's kind of no point. I think I'm gonna do it anyways because that little cue, like just my own cue in my head, not necessarily pulling the slack out, but kind of just like getting in there and kind of dribbling on it like that. It just helps me lock in and just like get in that mindset of just like exploding from the ground. Get a little bit more chalk. We got on about 500. We're just gonna hit this up and then get into the first set. So. Yeah, you definitely feel the difference. This shit is gonna be rough, but I think we got it. But yeah, definitely rough in every regard. Grip, there's just everything. It's gonna be a lot tougher than using the deadlift bar. All right, we got on the working set for at least 2. So I think the goal though is to still be able to add on more weight than we did for that last set of 5 last time while using the stiffy. That would be great. Actually, I can't tell. It looks like a power bar rather than a stiff bar. Or maybe stiff bars are the same thing. I don't know. I know since it has the knurling in the middle that it's not a deadlift bar. Usually deadlift bars don't have this. So I guess somebody let me know. Anybody that's more educated on bars and shit, let me know what type of bar this is. But one thing I do know, it's definitely harder to use than a deadlift bar. So, getting into it though. I think the hardest part is going to be holding on to this shit. Yeah, you could probably see it. The hardest part about that, I mean, yeah, it feels slower off the ground and everything. You know what I mean? It's definitely harder to pull off the ground when you can really pull that slack out, but I'm telling you, the hardest thing is just holding on to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that bad, lifting-wise. It's just holding on to it when it's that thick. I might have to spread out my hands a little bit, try to get more on the knurling instead of just pulling in the smooth. But yeah, I'll take that for a first set. Usually it takes me till after that first set to warm up anyways. Like, if I ever do a first set and it feels 100% free, oh, I know it's gonna be a good day. and I could do some crazy shit. But more often than not, it does take me to that first set to warm up. So if anything good comes out of this first set, is that we should be all the way warmed up now. That includes the grip, so we should have nothing to worry about for that second set. And we'll be able to use that just to feel it out, see what we're gonna do for that last set. All right, no funny shit, man. We're gonna lock in for this. That shit is brutal, man. Absolutely brutal. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, I think it's more brutal because it's a learning curve. And I never dealt with it on a bar like this, but everything about it is just uncomfortable. But we got the second set, so I can't be too upset. And we'll try to add on more weight than last time for that last set. And just hope that we can lock the fuck in. I'm gonna have to get myself super pumped up for that shit. 545, so not only is this more weight than what we were doing with for our 2 working sets, but it's more weight than last time that we did for that last set. So last set of 5s, we did the typical 2 working sets, and then we added on more weight to that last set, but we went to, I think it was like 340 or 540 or 541. So now we're at 546, I believe. So, or maybe 545. So not that much more weight, but it's still more, and we're still pulling on a stiffy. So, yeah. But the one thing is like, yeah, it feels heavier, you know what I mean? All that shit. But the one thing that I feel like is killing me the most is just the grip, right? Like in terms of moving the weight, the strength is definitely there. It feels fine. I mean, the first rep feels a little bit shaky, but that's only because I'm kind of getting in my head a little bit, because I can't, like when I pull the slack out, it just doesn't move. So it's like, oh shit, you know what I mean? It makes me think about how heavy the weight is instead of realizing that it's a stiff bar. That's why we can't pull the slack out. But even then, you know, it still moves. And then after I get my confidence, the rest of the reps are fucking easy. It's just the grit. It keeps falling out of my hands. The more it slips, the more it's like the harder it is for me to actually like fucking pull it. So we're just gonna use the motivation that we have Ryan in our hands, and there's a cliff right here, and in that cliff are a bunch of crocodiles, and if we let go, we end up pulling the boy, and that will make me want to hold on for dear life. I'll probably leave the gym still holding on to this thing, man. Come on, that shit, come on. There's nothing, come on. I mean, even on that last rep, we were able to hold on to it till we locked out, but going on the way down, definitely slipped out of that left hand, so. But yeah, that motivation really did work though. I feel like first, second, third, fourth, fifth rep looked cleaner than the lighter weight that we were doing, so I'm happy with that. But I don't think the conversion to getting used to the stiff bar will be that bad. It's just that grip. You know, I'm about to fucking full program forearms into my workout regimen.